Hi and welcome to this video. In today's video, we will talk about how to design an email template. And in the next video, we will build this template in HTML. So this time I'm not going to use Outlook to build the template. I'm just going to go directly to HTML and code the template in Visual Studio Code. Let's start now talking about the design. Why the design of email template is very important. Because designing email templates is completely different than designing web pages. Email templates are very limited. They are different from web pages because they use an old version of HTML. However, the new Outlook and Gmail, they kind of improved their HTML engine. But if you want to stay safe and you want your newsletter to look good on all mail servers, you need to follow these steps that I'm gonna mention in the video. I will use Illustrator in designing the template. You can use whatever you want. Let me open now Illustrator. Let me create a new file. This is a custom document that I used already in another video. So it's 800 width and 1366 height. Now let's create the file. I'm going to use wires to explain the basic of email templates. So when we design the template, this is the first table that we need to think of. Let me give it 2 points and or even more to make it visible. Let us center it. This is the first table that we need to use or build because this one is going to hold the background color. And then we need another table, and this table is going to be our newsletter template. Now, the first element in most of our newsletters template is the banner. So let us add the banner. So this is going to be our banner. And then we will have here text. And then at the bottom, we will have a footer. This is a basic design. We still need more elements. The title, you have two options. You can make the title editable and add it under the image, create a new cell here, for example, and add title here, or you can add the title here on top of the image with the logo of the company. I need to center this, and then here, let me add the title here to make it visible. Let's choose another font. It's better to use system fonts because they are safe fonts. This means that if you get the message on your mobile phone, it's going to be rendered exactly as on the computer because Arial is a system font. When we design the template in HTML, we can use 2-3 fonts. So in case the font that we want to use is not available, it will go back and use Arial. Now let me make it bold. Now if you want to make like two cards in the design to add more imagery, to make it more attractive, it's better to add a new table with two columns. So this is gonna be the table, and let us divide it. There is a reason why we need to add another table in the design or in building the template, because we can't control spacing within columns. If I add here spacing here, the other column is going to take the same spacing here on some engines, not on all mailing engines. It's better to add a new table to have more control over spacing. And if you need to add more elements, my advice to you, it's better also to add another table. For example, if you have 3 elements here, it's better to add more cells or more tables. For example, if we have here 2 images, let me duplicate the box. It's better to divide these 2 elements and then add another cell and then add another cell or another row, as I said, to have more control over spacing. So I know I'm talking more about the technical issues in newsletters. I'm not talking really about design, because this is the best way to design email templates, through understanding the technical issues behind newsletters. So you don't want to build something and then send it to the developer and then he will tell you, sorry, this is not gonna work. And this is the main frame for designing most of email templates. Now let me build this template in a new artboard next to this one. I'm gonna speed up the process to make the video short. It's going to be a replicate of these wireframes. I'm gonna make the banner 800 pixel width and 250 height. Now let's talk about the margins. I use mostly 35 pixels margins, left, right, top, and bottom. Now let me use Control R to add the ruler, and let us add guideline. So this is the guideline. This is 35. Now let us take this text and put it here. Now we need to add another guideline on the right side. So we can also add some paragraphs, perhaps, to make it more attractive. I think we don't need all of these. So this looks good. Now let's create these two cards. Here in the design, we are free to design the way we want, but in general, we need to keep in mind that this is a newsletter, so don't exaggerate the design. Don't, you need just to keep it simple. We need just to keep in mind that this is a newsletter, so we need to keep it as simple as possible. Now let's start with the two images. We can just go back to Unsplash, and here we can search for imagery. Let me use this one, and then let me use also this one. So now this is our template. I added two images from Unsplash with kind of titles and text. And here at the bottom, I added a footer with social media icons, which is I'm gonna link to social media accounts. And then here, the copyright text. Here at the bottom, I added again this gradient, which is a replicate or which is which is part of this gradient to add some harmony to the template. Here at the bottom, I added this gray color. It makes it more interesting. And this is in general how I design the template. I think I forgot just to mention or to add the logo. You can add it wherever you like. I would prefer to add it to the banner. You can add it here, you can add it here, or you can add it here. Or you can just go to the bottom and add it here. It's up to you. In my case, I would prefer to add it here. One thing to mention, we can't use gradient in email templates, so we need to export this gradient with the banner as one image. Or we can replace the gradient with a color like this blue color and stick to just to solid colors. So let's keep it with a gradient and export it as an email. and export it as one image, as a banner. Notice that this text is going to be part of the image, so it's not going to be editable in the email template. And we can't even add links to it. We can link the whole banner, the whole image, but not the parts of this image. And here as well, when you design the template and you want to link this text, you need to consider that this text here is editable and you can add links to it. But if you add it, let me just bring it to the front. But if you add it to the top of the image in your design, you can't edit it in the image because background images doesn't work in email templates. I know that in the new Microsoft engine, the background images are working, but the old Microsoft, it's not working. So be careful when you use it. Let's review it. So this is our template. Usually, because I have really huge experience in building email templates, I wouldn't go to Illustrator and design my template there. I would go directly to Outlook and design it there. But if you are working with but if you want to build it as an HTML element, maybe it's better to start with Illustrator because it's going to save you time in building a template that it's not going to work or that's not approved the the client. So it's better to design it in Illustrator and then get the approval of your client and then send it to the guy who is going to build it, or you build it yourself. But if you are working in Outlook and you are going to build it in Outlook or on Word, I wouldn't go to Illustrator to build it. I'm going to go directly to Word or Outlook and build the template and then get the approval of my client. The last thing, I will build this email as an HTML template, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So if you have any question, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe.